Hey Noah, how long have you been a Lions fan? Or
Oh
Detroit
man.
fan, I guess?
I'd say probably about like 10, 15 years.
Oh.
Die hard.
Yeah. Remember any? Do you got any real good championship memories there?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
Oh, I don't know. That might have been before your time, but I know a guy who remembers.
Allegedly.
Welcome to another episode of Allegedly Podcast. I'm Lucas,
Oh, I'm Noah, and I'm off on the side today.
and today we have brought back a very respectful man, very big man. I love him very much. My father, Shane German, is back.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
How's it going,
Happy,
Shane?
Hey.
happy to be
How's it
here.
going? Thank you.
Back.
Thank you.
Today I brought my father back. Number one, he's in our most popular video. Number two, he knows what it is to be a devoted fan to a team, a city, and that's what we're talking about. We're going to talk about fandom today. What it is like to be a devoted fan and to maybe get through the dark times and see the bright side. You are an all Detroit fan. Mostly, I would say Lions and Tigers, but I know you like the Red Wings and the Pistons, but I would say you would definitely say you're Lions and Tigers first.
Yeah, I'm more of I would say a fair weather fan on the Pistons and the Red Wings. I don't follow them near what I used to. I mean, I was pretty hardcore into all of them for a little bit.
And I was gonna say I can easily guess why, but I'd rather you tell. I also, before we get to the point, I do have the story you sent me. Do you want me to read that, or
You can
do you
read
want?
it.
Okay, I'll read it
You
at
can
some
read
point. But how did you become a all Detroit fan? Just in like when? How? When? Why? How?
My dad, it was either you liked the teams that he liked or you didn't live there anymore. I can remember. I can remember one time telling him that I thought I was a Michigan fan, and he goes, "Not in this house." Nope, not in this house. So yeah, that went over real well because I was back in Michigan's heyday in the
Yeah.
'80s when they were a lot better than Ohio State.
Yeah, but obviously turned that around and still. I was gonna say, when do you feel like you became a devoted fan of whether it be one team or all the teams, or like when do you feel like you're like, these are my teams, like there's no changing, there's no going back, these are my teams, ride die, no matter what.
Well, Pistons, bad boys. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I watched a lot of those games, watched all the playoffs. That was also when Michael Jordan was coming on. It pretty much during those years, it felt like every team in the NBA had a superstar, at least one superstar. They weren't all on the same team, kind of like now.
Yeah,
So
no,
I mean,
I agree.
That's a big reason why I don't follow basketball anymore.
That's fair. We're, to be fair and to maybe crush the dreams of anyone listening, we will probably never do a pro basketball episode podcast. We might talk college basketball. We will not talk pro basketball. I know no one close to me who watches it, but again, I wasn't around for the Bad Boys, but just watching the documentary about them, it is absolutely crazy what they were able to accomplish, and just the tactics and the players that they had, that they could win back-to-back championships. Not many teams were able to do that. The Pistons are among, like, between the Bulls dynasty and the Lakers, like, they're Pistons right there. Yeah. It's absolutely crazy what they were able to do, and that makes sense, like, right around there. So I made mention of it already, but I'll read the story. So you sent me this text. It was after the win against the Rams?
Yeah, I believe so. It was just
Yeah.
It made me to start thinking of how long I've actually truly. I mean, I've always been a Lions fan.
Yeah.
Always been a Lions fan. But this was where I was like, I'm watching every game. This is awesome, and started getting to know who each one of the players were. And, it was an every Sunday thing. It was like, oh, we're gonna watch the Lions.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, so after the Lions won, number one, I called you, and I still remember. I'm like,
ruining my win.
hey, you're still alive, and the Lions won a playoff game, and so, but you sent me this. So Tuesday, January. Oh no, you sent me this a few days after that it happened, but on October 6, 1991, you say this was the day you became a Lions fan. It was your very first Lions game you had ever attended. It was a fandom that almost didn't happen. The game was in Pontiac, Michigan at the Pontiac Silverdome. The Lions were playing the Minnesota Vikings. The Lions were getting their butts kicked all game. With 8 minutes and 38 seconds left on the clock in fourth quarter, the Vikings were up 20-3. My dad was ready to go, and with one pass to Robert Clark, everything changed. 2010 Vikings. The onside kick to the Vikings was fumbled, and the Lions recovered it. Dad said, well, maybe we'll stay and see what happens. The Lions went 57 yards and scored another touchdown. 2017 Vikings. The Lions defense stood strong and stopped the Vikings, making them punt the ball. The Lions started on their own 28-yard line and drove the ball 72 yards for a Barry Sanders touchdown. 24-20, the Detroit Lions. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Mikey. Like that, I read that and got goosebumps, and I'm just like, because then that made me immediately have to think about my fandom and like when did it like come like hit me when I was like, this is the team I want to run. But even though I read that, I take us back there like that night, because obviously like reading it, like I get chills like just reading that, because I can only imagine how it was. You were actually there, being there with your dad and watching that unfold.
Yeah, so my dad we'd go to Tigers games and stuff, and it was always, we needed to beat the traffic. It was never we stayed for the whole game.
Yeah.
It was always beat the traffic. So when they're down by 17 points, Dad's like, well, he's starting to get antsy. And he's like, well, then Robert Clark scores a touchdown. And he's like, well, we'll kind of see what's happening here. And then all of a sudden, onside kick, Lions recover. And I mean, it exploded in there in the Silverdome. I mean, Silverdome is quite a bit bigger. I want to say that was 70,000, somewhere around there, 70,000 seats. And Ford Field is down to 60,000.
No, you want to look that up, just be safe.
The Ford Field one is correct.
Yeah, there's quite a huge difference.
Gotcha.
It was 80,000.
80,000. So it was 20,000 different. I mean, it's a huge difference. So, just everybody, screaming and hollering.
Yeah.
Luckily, we were sitting right there on the 50-yard line,
Nice.
which is the best seats I've ever sat in at any game. And so they recovered the ball, and they scored again. And then, like I said, the defense actually stood tall and stopped them. And they went down, and who better than Barry Sanders? I can remember seeing Barry come out, and everybody else, it's like boom, 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 and then there's Barry with his lineman. I mean, it was just going to that game. I had to sit there and look and go, this is the same size field that I play on. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. It's just like, wow. It just boggles my mind. You watch it on TV, and it's like, that is the same size field that I play on.
But it just seems so much bigger.
Oh, yeah.
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 No, I agree. No, that's crazy. But no, again, Thank you for sending me that because I know I think I talked to you a couple days ago. He was like, why didn't you say anything? Because I'm like, I don't know what to say to that. I got nothing for you, man. That's a deep dig that I had no idea because but I really after you sent me that I had to really think about like when do I think I really flipped the switch because for anyone listening who doesn't know, I'm a Green Bay fan because I didn't live with my dad and he didn't force me to like the Lions.
Well, it's kind of hard to. Yeah. We always get the question, how does that work? Well, you know what? The Lions have sucked all for how many years, and it's kind of hard to go. Hey, buddy. No, be a fan of the Lions. Come on, it only hurts for a little bit. I mean, it's hard to force you to want to be a Lions fan when they're terrible all the time.
Oh yeah,
and then Green Bay has back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. No, it's fair. But no, I was gonna say just to bring Noah in on this. Like, how did you become a fan of the Lions? Was it just because you were in like because you were born and raised in Monroe, Michigan, which is how far was that from Detroit?
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Like, did you pick up on like was your dad like a Lions fan or did you just like my state, that's my team or
So the NFL was actually entirely just me liking it. I didn't really have any influences growing up, honestly.
Oh.
Just the close proximity to Detroit. I was a big Tigers fan because my dad watched the Tigers. So I was a big Tigers fan growing up. And so I just kind of made Detroit
that's fair.
my team, man.
That's fair.
I mean, I'm in the same boat as Shane. I really just watch the Lions and Tigers. I do care about the Red Wings a little.
Getting better. Yeah.
When it comes to the Pistons, no, I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. I just thought I'd ask because I don't think I'd ever ask you that.
There was a time in like 5th grade and younger when I was like, I like the Steelers. No. I like the Colts.
No,
they're good right now.
Yeah.
But then eventually, once I got like maybe 5th, 6th, 7th grade, that's when I was like, all right.
Oh yeah.
We're just gonna stick with the Lions from now on.
Yep. No, I was gonna say since I didn't tick my dad's team, I was gonna say, and it wasn't a team that was in close proximity or even in my home state. My great grandfather was just the biggest Packer fan, just big Brett Favre, just he just loved them, and that's the thing. Like everywhere, like there are plenty of pictures when I was little. Like he always wore a Green Bay jacket. He had I have his Brett Favre jersey that he owned. I take very much pride that I have that. But he just that's where I picked up on it, and just from there I started loving the Packers and just kept going. I feel like I'm lying when I say that I became a true fan when I saw them win the Super Bowl, like watched it on TV, go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. But even then, like I was a fan, but I feel like you just don't get that. You just don't get that diehardness by watching it on TV. You have to go to a game, and going to a game as a whole, whether that's a home or away game, and I'll just say it, the day where I just am absolutely will never. I think it's just a day that I won't ever forget because I can still see it playing in my head every time, and it was the first time we started
face mask.
We started the tradition. I'll tell the long story. I'll tell the long story. We got this. One of my close friends, Steven, got tickets for him and his now ex-girlfriend to go to the Lions and Packers game. He's a Steelers fan, but his girlfriend at the time was a Packers fan. Well, they broke up, and he's like, hey, do you want to go with me? I'm like, no, I'll take the tickets. I'll take my dad. So me and you went. We sat up the top of the Ford Field in the corner of the what was it? This I'm trying to think of which end zone, but either way, we were up very high, still decent enough to see. And it was, of course, that game that we go to. Aaron Rodgers on the untimed play throws a Hail Mary to the end zone. And I'll never forget, due to the fact that all I remember, it plays in my mind every time. It's just I just watch Aaron Rodgers roll out. All I watched was the ball go up, and I'm just watching it, and then all I see, 2 white gloves just, and I'm just sitting there, and everyone's freaking out, and I see Green Bay players running out in the field. I'm like, did he just catch that? Did he just catch? And I'm trying to hug you, and you're just like, get off me. And you're like, I'm gonna go wait down the concourse.
I told you have 5 minutes to celebrate.
Yeah, that was the day where I was just like, anything's possible. Number one, anything's possible in a football game, and that's when I'm like, this is it. That's when it just becomes real. When you go to the game, when you get to feel your team win, whether it was deserved or not, it's great. It's great to go to a game and watch your team win and just be a part of the atmosphere. Because even if we've been going to Detroit, Green Bay for we did the math. Is it 8 years now?
No, I believe it's 11 years, but the one was the COVID year.
Yep,
so it's
COVID.
10.
Yeah, so we've been going every year, and even when Green Bay wins, I can walk around, high five Green Bay fans. If Detroit wins, my dad can walk around, high five Lions fans. Like Detroit, I would say, as far as every time I've gone, pretty respectable. Not a lot of assholes or douchebags, as my dad would probably say, but no, it's a lot of fun. That's why we always go. We've never gone to Green Bay. I know we've talked about it, but and now my mom loves Green Bay. If you don't know this, me, my mom, my grandma Kay went up to Green Bay last game of the season. Yeah, within I think the first 6 hours, my mom's like, "We need to get an Airbnb here in the fall. We got to come up." I'm just like, yeah, you set that up. We'll go. But no, I say that's definitely something we got to do because I know even though you're not a Green Bay fan, I feel like you'd appreciate going to Lambeau Field and just going to Green Bay. It's a lot of fun. But I digress. So being a Lions fan, as you said before, it hasn't always been, for the most part, sunshines and rainbows. It has been. You were there in 90. You became a true fan in 91. If someone told you that this team will not win a playoff game until 2024, well, what would you have said? That's my biggest question. Like,
there were times that, especially right around the 0-16 season, especially even after that, I thought, man, I feel like I need to pick a different team because I mean it's hard to root for somebody that loses all the time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm not picking another NFC team. I'm not that kind of person. But I wasn't gonna pick the Browns because no, that's too close to home. And I thought, oh, you know what? Indianapolis, they got Peyton Manning. I kind of like that guy. That guy's kind of funny, and he was a pretty good quarterback. So, I debated on Indianapolis for a little bit, but I was just like, I can't. I just cannot abandon the Lions. I mean, they don't really care, but
yeah.
Back then it didn't seem like they cared to win or not.
Gotcha. No, and that blows my mind too. Even like a lot of fan bases you look out there where because again you can possibly draw out parallels between the Lions and the Browns where it's kind of just been them. It's just been kind of disappointment, the factory of sadness. Like it's just it's one of those things where it's like you said you questioned it, but you stayed loyal and look where we're at now.
I haven't seen any videos of Lions fans ripping their jerseys off.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard Lions fans after a loss get upset, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of Lions fans if this season said anything, like they support that team. Detroit loves that team. It's great, and I like to see the Lions do good because just due to the fact I love seeing you happy because. I think it was like a year or two ago. It might have been this year too. Just this past year, you're like, I'm gonna stop drinking the Kool-Aid, man. I'm gonna stop drinking the Lions Kool-Aid.
I say that every year.
Go. What you got over there?
I got a little hypothetical for you here.
Oh boy.
So, let's say you just watched the Lions lose the NFC Championship game in 1992.
Yep.
And someone from the future came up to you and said, the Lions are not going to win another playoff game until 2024. Would you have remained a fan at that?
Or would you have just
1992?
timed it up to come back at that time?
You know,
Or would you have
the
just
thing
picked a
is,
different team? And
I love football so much, and when it comes to any of the teams, be it Ohio State or any of the other sports, the Lions through and through. I've always loved the team. You know, I've seen them lose, I've seen them win, but for 32 years, I mean, would I probably have dedicated Sundays? Well, 0-16 season, guess what? DVR was full. I mean, because I would go and I'm like, well, you know what, Sunday, we can go do something. I'll come back because then I can just fly through the commercials. And the thing about the 0-16 season, they only got blown out twice. Mm-hmm. They were competitive every game except for two. And it was one of those things where it's like, I don't want to see anything.
Yeah.
But, my feeling on making it to the playoffs, making it to the NFC Championship, I was never a big fan of just making it to the playoffs because, you're,
right.
my Super Bowl has been the draft pick every year. So, I mean, it's like, oh, the draft's coming up. Season's end, draft. But for 30 years, I would have probably wavered a little bit, but I would have eventually came back.
Well, I was gonna say because
we had a lot of coaching changes.
Yeah.
So that also always would bring me back. Oh, this guy, and you do your research. Oh well, he was good here and he was good there, and it's like maybe he'll be good here.
Well, I was gonna say, flipping from the Lions, let's talk about the Tigers too. I was gonna say because what year were you born?
What year was I born?
I can't remember.
Oh my goodness. 1976.
Okay, so I didn't want to. So you were still young, but you've been around since the last time the Tigers won the series.
Yeah, 84.
In 84. So do you think you can draw any parallels? Because I feel like if you compare the Lions and the Tigers in that same kind of span, like the Tigers won World Series in 84, yes, because me and you have the shirts. But they wouldn't get back to the World Series till, what is it? Was it 06?
Well, they played for the pennant in 87. And I actually got to go to one of those games in 87 against Minnesota, which they lost.
Yeah. But like, here, I'll draw a parallel. Do you feel like being a Tigers fan kept you being a Lions fan? Or because the Tigers were having success, and I feel like, at least in spurts, the Tigers were having success. Do you feel like them having some success, you're like, that gives you hope for the Lions to be able to turn around? Just like especially having two teams, same city, and at this point, like obviously into the 2000s, literally they are neighbors to each other. They got Comerica and you got Ford Field. So do you think that maybe played into being able to stay loyal to the Lions, or were you just more of a Lions fan? Just I don't know. I don't know.
To me, I mean, the Wings were good, in the early 90s, and they were good. They made 23 appearances in the playoffs.
Yeah, they were on because they had like a 20 or 30 year streak of making the playoffs, and that ended. I want to say I wish Jack was here. It was like 2015, something like that. Like, and then they've been kind of rebuilding since. But yep.
Yeah. I don't. Neither team really pushes me towards the other. I always want both of them to do well, or all of them to do well, because I would like to be able to go back and start watching, those teams, Pistons, Wings. I loved watching all that, but I also felt like they were more available on TV. Then I mean, you
Yeah.
have to have premium channels to watch some of the games. So
Yeah.
you got to watch. It's not Bally's anymore, is it?
No, it's still Bally's. No, it was like Fox Sports
Fox
Go,
Sports,
and then
yeah.
it became Bally's now.
So,
The Tigers are going to be on like Prime this year.
yeah,
Something.
yeah.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's there's what did they say 16. There's several. It's not just Tigers. It's different sports that
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I'd seen.
some of the like Bally just got. I don't know what happened. They got kicked out of some cities basically.
Oh,
And Detroit was one of them.
Oh, okay. Well,
And now all
interesting.
their sports games are going to be on Amazon.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Well,
I don't know the full details, but
yeah, no, because I was gonna say, but yeah, going through Tigers made in the span of the Lions not winning any playoff games. You had the Tigers making the World Series twice, not coming away with the series either time, but I don't know. I guess just seeing other teams in that same city succeed gives you does that give you hope for your team that's kind of been down and still's trying to find their way?
Of course, I mean we went to the Wings Knights game.
Yeah.
And did you? I mean, look how much they
Yeah.
really played off of the Lions.
Yep.
I mean, Rory was there. I mean,
Yeah.
and they kept showing people with Lions jerseys on.
Yeah.
And it was just.
Jared. Yeah, I remember you looked at me. You're like, if they start yelling Jared Goff, you're gonna say it, right? And I'm like, I'll say it.
And what did I promise you?
That you would say it too. I'm
No,
like,
what did I promise you? If they started chanting Jordan Love, I'd chant with you.
Oh yeah, because they were totally gonna do that. Yeah, no. If that happened, I've been like, where are we? It's been in the Matrix or something. I don't know. Well, so you've been a fan of all Detroit. Here's a real good question. I feel like you can name this one. I'll give you two options. Number one, give me the Mount Rushmore of Detroit sports teams, and then you can give me your personal one on. And it doesn't have to be through.
What do you mean? Like years and
You can just. I just say number one, Detroit sports icons of all time, and then you can give me your personal one because I also want to know that. And it doesn't have to be from each sports team. You can all be from one or be from different ones. It doesn't have to be all the sports teams. But I feel like who are the icons of Detroit in that you think like everyone in Detroit's like these are our four icons?
Yeah. So Barry Sanders is number one.
Yeah.
By far. I mean, he's beloved. Stevie Y.
Yeah.
Stevie would definitely be on that. Miggy, I would definitely say Miggy. And then probably Isaiah Thomas.
Is it? Yeah. That
I mean,
sounds right.
That you're talking about your mega all stars from each team. So
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, yeah, it's sad to think that going in, we're getting close to baseball's spring training, and Miggy ain't wearing 24 in the English D anymore. So, but I'm gonna miss him. But who are your personal Detroit icons for you? Who do you like? I maybe not heroes, but who are the guys? I was gonna say. I knew you were probably gonna say Chris Spielman.
yeah,
It's like
Chris Spielman,
number one.
definitely my number one, because I always felt that guy would play football for free. I mean, he always seemed like he loved the game, and there's a lot of things off the field that he did that just it always touched me. He's Chris Spielman. He always had beard stubble, and he had a niece that he would go see, and he would shave it so that he wouldn't give her a beard burn. When his wife was diagnosed with breast cancer and she lost her hair, he shaved his head. I mean, just little things like that. And and you know, I'm absolutely ecstatic that he is part of the organization. I mean, I always watched. He had podcasts, or not so much podcasts, but he had videos, and I would watch his videos just to kind of see his insight before he was back with the Lions.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
my number one is
Chris
definitely Chris Spielman.
Nice.
You know, I get a double up on him because he's a Buckeye. So
I was about to say, because it's kind of funny how you say that, because my team drafted an Ohio State linebacker, and he played forever and holds the record for most tackles by a Packer linebacker, AJ Hawk. So and that was my guy on Green Bay forever, was AJ Hawk. So I feel like that we have that kind of in common, where it's like we had Ohio State guy goes to our team and just So who we got at number 2?
Number 2, wow,
Is Jason Hansen going to be on this list?
Oh, Mr. Roboto, he was awesome.
I was about to say, I'm like, I shouldn't be shocked if you say Jason Hansen, because man played for he played 2 decades. Didn't he play for 2 decades for the Lions? It was
he played for 20 years.
Yeah,
it was at least 20 years. So I mean, he definitely.
His name's in the rafters at Ford Field. He's there.
21 seasons.
Yeah,
20. Yeah, I was about to say he
all
played
with the Lions.
because I think I only sort of know that because I have a Pro Bowl card from him from 91. So,
and the thing about that is you look around the league and you see just the constant changing
of kickers.
Yeah. I mean, the Lions went through, I think, 3 this year, 3 or 4. You know, it's just constant rotating.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 or 3, something like that.
Yeah.
They always had one on the practice squad. That's crazy.
Yep.
You know,
But no, well,
and in several years before we got Dad Bod.
Prater.
Yeah.
Dad bod. I'm like, saying dad bod didn't get me. I just knew who you were talking about.
Matt Prater.
Matt
My
Prater.
fault. Yeah. I mean, we drafted. I believe we drafted a kicker. He didn't work out.
Yeah.
And luckily, we got Prater after he came off of suspension.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, you guys stumbled upon Riley Patterson, let him go, and then brought him back, which I thought was
We gave up a draft pick for him.
See, it's like after you have your kicker for 21 years, you're like, we don't know how to draft kickers. We had one dude for 21 years. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. But
number 2, I
you don't even have to rank them. Just who's in your top? Who are the 4 guys? You're just like these.
Barry would be there.
Barry, yeah.
I would say Justin Verlander.
Yeah,
definitely. Cecil Fielder. Back in my day. I was a big fan of Cecil's.
Yeah. Because I remember you got excited when Prince Fielder came there.
Yeah,
it was just it's just coming full circle now.
Well, I mean, Prince was, I had that picture of him and his dad.
Yep.
There, when his dad was playing for the Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, probably your buddy, Billy Lambert.
Yeah, again, I wasn't around to see him play, but just in the documentary of the Bad Boys, I can just tell you, Bill Laimbeer, I still say, I'm like, he's the best basketball player I know of. I was going to say, he didn't have to score. He basically, just because how I play basketball, I'm just like, you don't have to be the guy who scores all the points. You don't got to be just, if you're out there doing your best and trying to get in the team's head and just being a part of the team, doing your best, you can be a pivotal part of a team. So just Bill Laimbeer, my favorite basketball player of all time. So
there's that whole team, top to bottom.
Yeah,
you had Benny. They all had their own nicknames. And, it was. I liked those teams there.
It's
everybody on there. I mean,
yeah.
It's easy to like everybody on a basketball team because there's not as many
Yeah.
guys. I'm just trying to think. Calvin Johnson. You got to respect that. You got to respect
Megatron.
that game. Pudge Rodriguez. I liked Pudge for he did a lot for that team.
Oh yeah,
He came up from the Marlins, and it's one of those things where Dan Campbell came to the Lions and changed that culture. Well, Pudge was the very start of the change in culture. There for the Tigers.
yeah. He came before Leland, right? Or did? Yeah,
Yes,
because
yes.
Leland didn't lead them until after. Yeah, okay, my bad. But no, that make mention. How do you feel, Jim Leland, Baseball Hall of Fame?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
he deserves it. He deserves it.
I remember I got to go. They have the men's club meeting out near Ridgeville, and they had Leland come one time, and just being around him, like he's he's exactly how he looks. Honestly, like that man, he's just old timer guy, but he's
crusty.
Old crusty, but he's still he's an honest, very nice guy, but just he's hilarious. Like any story that I feel like I've heard about him, I'm like, I believe it. I've seen the man in person. I've met him. He's one of those old timers that just you don't find anymore. Just real nice guy. Very happy for him, and obviously Tigers, I know, appreciate everything he did. I remember when he left Detroit, and it's like I want to say it was kind of like Miggy leaving, but it was because it just basically for most of my fandom being a Tigers fan at that point, like I knew Jim Leland. Jim Leland was our manager, and I will always and forever love Jim Leland. He's an awesome guy, and he's a local hero around here too. So
Yep.
from just north of here, Perrysburg. So no. Would you say the Lions winning 2 playoff games probably is that the best for you? Is that the best moment to have happened to you, or at least that you can remember? Like, is there any other game or moment where you're like, I don't think I've ever been as happy as a fan as I was that day, or I don't know whether.
I think when we watched the national championship, you were just
Yeah,
for-
the
for Ohio
2-2.
State. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was the happiest time. I mean, you were real young.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
but I know what you're talking
but
about.
that was probably the happiest that I was.
It
I didn't build up this year for the Lions. I mean,
Sorry. No. I just pointed at him because just a throwback to our first episode talking about the NFL. I told Noah, I said, I predicted the Packers were going to make the playoffs, but I said the Lions are going to win this division. There's no way Minnesota's winning this division. There's no way Chicago's winning this division. And at the end of the season, after Green Bay lost, I said to Noah, I said to a few of our friends, I'm like, I'm jumping on the Lions bandwagon, and our friend Jack's like, you're not allowed to jump on the bandwagon. And I'm like, I've believed in the Lions since the beginning of the season. I just have another team I got to root for while they're still playing. And luckily Noah backed me up on this. And no, Lion, and I know you were happy the entire season. And again, didn't call you didn't say anything, didn't do anything till they won that playoff game, and I was emotional. And then when they lose the game, I don't call you, and you call me. So you're ruining the moment, Dad.
yeah. Well,
Just kidding.
no, I mean, my feeling is anybody that was. I mean, I can understand being upset. We had the game in hand, and then pretty much, I would say, due to lack of experience.
Yeah.
We pretty much blew it. To be upset that we lost in the NFC Championship, I'm sorry, but you probably should hang out and be a Lions fan a little bit longer than a couple years. Sorry.
Yeah. Probably important phone call.
It's your stepmom.
Okay. No, you can. Okay.
Here, I'll put it on silence. She'll see this in a couple weeks.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, you're good. I was.
But that's the one thing. You know, I expected them to win the division. I expected them to win their first game. They made it. And as much as I didn't want to see them play the Rams because I didn't want it to be about Stafford, I was happy because that they won because I was so worried that they were going to lose to Stafford.
And then it was going to be the joke.
Then you're just going to hear how much Matthew Stafford still owns Detroit.
Yeah.
And I was happy that they won. I was happy that they got to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they'd already beat them once that year. So, I mean, I was expecting at least one playoff win.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Got two.
Because I had to hear some rants about after the game from Noah and from Jack, and I just know when you text me and you're like, I'm happy with the season. I'm happy with what we were able to do, and that and long time coming, and it happened. It happened. You guys get to keep Ben Johnson for another year. I bet because that was the one thing I remember. Jack, I was playing video games and he came in, and I tried to relate with him, and he got mad, and he's like, "This isn't about you. This is about Detroit. I need you to listen." And he's like, "We're gonna lose our offensive coordinator." And then when I saw Ben Johnson's like, "I'm coming back," and I'm like, "Okay, he's running it back." So it's I guess just we'll start to wrap it up here. What is the biggest thing for someone, whether they're a fan now or are trying to become a fan? Like, what's the biggest part about like keeping the faith? Because again, Ben took forever, but the Lions finally did it. How do you just keep the faith in a team like we may be bad now, but we're going to get better? And not just lose your mind.
Just have realistic expectations.
Yeah.
I mean that's the big thing. You know, I mean, you can be a fan that just I will say I will watch. I'll watch more baseball this year than what I have in the past couple years, but to watch the Pistons and them, if they start doing well, I'll watch them a little bit more.
Yeah.
But, just be patient, be realistic. Hopefully they have the right people in place.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, I mean, especially with the Lions, we had a lot of bad people running the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tigers have the right people in place now. I think they're starting to look better, and Wings definitely have the right person in place. We'll see what the Pistons do. I mean, they made a lot of changes in the last week or so. So
yeah, awesome. Noah, you got any Detroit related questions over there about fandom? Anything at all?
Just one. You said that you got to keep your expectations realistic. What's the expectation for next year, realistically?
Winning at least one more game.
What?
One more.
And
I'm looking at 12 wins during the season because we are playing supposedly tougher opponents next year. But I'm looking.
So realistic expectation for the Lions next year is to
12.
make Super Bowl.
Okay, well that means you're coming back to do NFL predictions next year, I guess. So, hey,
and that's also Dan Campbell's pretty much made it public that their entire team expectation next year is to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, and I was gonna say, it's with everyone they're bringing back and with the draft, they can obviously fill holes that they have. So that's realistic. So
yeah, if you watch any of Dan Campbell or read anything, they talk about fans saying, "Yeah, I'll run through the wall for that guy."
Yeah,
you know what? That guy is motivating. I mean,
Oh yeah, and it's funny just how it kind of felt like that he was made fun of when he was brought in because I think some people thought he kind of had that like college mindset, but it wasn't. He had a player mindset because I think that's the biggest asset he brought, being a former player and going into a locker room and being able to talk to guys on a level of I know where you're at. I've been there, and he's talking to them as a peer, not as I'm above you. So
Yes.
no, yeah, Dan Campbell, MCDC, definitely one of the biggest reasons the Lions are where they're at. But hopefully the Pistons can turn around whatever they're doing, and a lot of hope for the young Tigers and for the Red Wings and the Lions. Maybe hopefully can run it back, go to the Super Bowl next year, but we will see. We will see. But with that said, time to wrap it up. We're going to do our tried and true way to finish the episode and get a question from the question jar. What we got here? Let's see. We got a name on that, or is it just a question?
Will Robinson.
Ooh, Mr. Will Robinson. Heck yeah.
All right. What's your favorite NFL team? Oh, no.
I was about to say that. I know.
No,
that's not it.
What's best Looney Tunes cartoon / character?
Ooh.
Oh, let's
Looney
see.
Tunes character. Oh, jeez.
I'll let you go.
Uh,
Oh, come on. I
know. I've watched a lot.
No,
I'm trying to
it's-
think.
Your
I
favorite.
don't wanna-
Your favorite.
My favorite.
Yeah, Taz.
That was there, but I think I find Wile E. Coyote funnier just due to the fact that he tries so hard and just fails so epically at everything he does to try to catch the Roadrunner and or sheep, depending on which episodes you're watching. But like, I would say Wile E. Coyote. That's just I think it's funnier.
I would have to say Elmer Fudd. Just
Trying to catch the wascally wabbits.
yeah.
No, Noah, you got any Looney Tunes?
Yeah, Bugs Bunny.
Bugs. I was gonna say. See, I was trying to stay away from Bugs Bunny, but go. That's fair. That's fair. Bugs Bunny, definitely great Looney Tunes character. Well,
when you were a little kid, we had a VHS,
VHS of the Taz
and you would
Bugs Bunny,
you would
yeah.
put it in the VCR and you would watch it like it was the first time ever. And your grandma and grandpa had to tell you that they took it back to the video store just so you'd stop watching it.
well, this is also the same kid who had 3 VHSs of The Lion King at my mom's house and at both sets of grandparents' house, so that they could just pop it in and I just watch. They're like, "Oh, he needs to take a nap." Pop that in. I ain't moving. But no, that doesn't surprise me at all. Doesn't. But yeah, no. Okay. Well, Dad, again, thank you very much for coming on. Love having you. Parting wisdom may not be fatherly advice this time, but fandom advice from a guy who's been around, who's been a Lions fan for almost as long as the drought has been, and you made it through.
Yeah.
Like I keep saying, you're alive. The Lions have won 2 playoff games, more than the Cowboys have. So since 2000, so you can hold that over their heads for a while. But again, thank you for coming on. Love you very much. We'll always welcome to come back on. If not before the fall, we'll probably be back on some point. But yeah, if you've lasted this long listening, watching, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow us on all of our social medias. Thank you.
Thank you.